On a really cold morning, it is natural to look for something warm to drink. This is because we learned that heat energy will go from a high temperature object, such as your warm drink, to a region of lower temperature, which in this case is your body. You might also find yourself touching the mug so that heat moves from the mug to your cold hands. And if that is not enough, you would usually rub your hands really fast to get them warmed up. Now, why did you just rub your hands, you ask? The answer is friction. Friction, we learned, is a force that opposes the motion between two surfaces. One of the effects of friction is that it produces heat. Let's use our knowledge of energy to see how. Kinetic energy is transferred to a ball when it is kicked. As it rolls across the field, friction begins to act on it in an opposite direction. As friction acts on the ball, the kinetic energy of the ball is converted into heat until it has no more kinetic energy left and stops moving. As we have seen, friction has both advantages and disadvantages. For humans, rubbing our hands together keeps us warm. But for machines that have solid parts rubbing against each other, it could sometimes lead to problems. Friction causes heat in machines, and when this happens, the machine does not work as well as it should. In the process also, parts of the machine start to chip away. This is known as wearing. You can also notice this effect on the soles of your shoes. The constant friction between your shoes and the floor wears away your shoes until you have to replace them. In the worst cases, friction can eventually stop a machine from working completely. Remember that friction prevents motion. When the friction between two surfaces is too high, everything stops moving. But this is not always a bad thing. Nails and screws apply friction to stop parts from moving. And the wearing effect of friction is used to sharpen knives and other objects. Even a simple movement like rolling depends on friction. Instead of allowing the tires to slide along the road when force is applied, friction works in the opposite direction to make them rotate. So we can see that friction has its advantages. Another good thing about friction is that when it is not wanted, it can be reduced by adding lubricants or bearings. Lubricants are oils that reduce the friction between surfaces. This helps them to run smoothly with less heat produced. Bearings are metallic balls that function like mini tires, allowing two surfaces to roll along each other easily. So what have we learned? We have learned that even though friction causes heating and wearing and also prevents motion, it can be useful to us in various applications. And when we do not want any friction, there are still ways to reduce it. Keep learning.